My name is Gerda, and I work in eazyBI support. And I will talk about 1 year with eazyBI Assistance, and it will be a little bit retrospective view on how we came from the idea to the feature. So, my agenda, I will tell you how it all started. Then, I will speak a little bit more about our eazyBI Assistants, how they work, and what lessons we have learned. And the last, I will share how assistants changed eazyBI. So, how it all started, and what were the ideas before you get your eazyBI assistants that you know today. And I would say that everything started with ChatGPT being available to everyone. So, my mic is working? Yes. Yeah, okay. Suddenly the sound changed, so yeah, I will have to adjust. So the ChatGPT was made available in November 2022. And as Raymond already admitted, he was very skeptical in the beginning, because he was thinking maybe it is just a hype, another buzzword that sometimes appear in the tech world. And in our team as well, there were part of people who were saying, oh, this will fade. Another were, we'll see. Another were the pioneers, I would say. And one of those guys were Jānis Vanags. He was the first one, I think, who was sharing, he was sharing his experience with Mind Journey, what is the tool for generating AI images, pictures. And he was also sharing his experience talking with AI. And he was the first who was thinking about, hey, how we can incorporate AI into eazyBI. And his first idea is available publicly in GitHub. It's Jira issue description scatter plot. And what it basically does, it takes all the issue description. It uses AI model to turn this text into embeddings, that is a numeric representation of the text. And then it imports into eazyBI and uses those numbers to generate the scatter plot. And this scatter plot basically shows that maybe this cloud is, like each dot is the issue, and it is relevant, so maybe it is duplicating, or those issues could be like looked together. And this idea was interesting, but it still missed like, okay, but how we can use it within eazyBI and how we can turn it into usable feature into it. So we didn't like move forward with this idea. Another idea was in November 2023, and it was about using custom GPTs that ChatGPT provides. And Nauris from our eazyBI support team provided the GPT with instructions and documentation from our documentation page. And it was interesting, but it still lacked what we wanted. And while I was searching Nauris GPT, I found out that not only us had this idea of creating custom GPTs, so you can see there are at least 5, 6, and one of those is also Mindaugas, who will share his experience after the coffee break. And he will share how he built the GPT and his experience overall with AI. So, and this idea was interesting because it provides like narrower knowledge, because it gives the GPT the documentation and instructions, but we wanted something more. So we moved to our assistants, and we were finding the right fit for eazyBI, because what we learned from custom GPT was we want more control of instructions, of documentation, of sample reports, what we are providing and how it is using this information. And I think the most crucial part, we didn't want our customers to go to another tool and use it for working with eazyBI. We wanted eazyBI assistants to be part of the product. So in 2024, as Raymond already mentioned, we are a completely remote company. But every second month, we are meeting in person, and we work on different ideas. And during those hackathons, we were starting to work on eazyBI Assistance. So it is January. And then, in March, every feature, before it is available for our customers, is going through the internal testing. So we try to break the things apart, and developers usually love us for it. Well, I'm joking, they hate it, but still. So in March, it was available for our internal testing, and we were trying to understand how to improve the answers and how to provide better documentation and sample reports. And then, as already mentioned, in May 2024, you all got your eazyBI assistants on cloud. How many of you have used any of 3 assistants what we have? Can you? So there is still room for everybody to try them out. So the first one is Report Builder, where you can ask to create your report. You can ask to also explain measures, because we have eazyBI have a lot of predefined measures that are imported automatically. And you can like hover over the measure, and there will be a pop-up explains this. It will search through the documentation and show you what this measure does, how it is related to other dimensions, and so on. And another thing what I like, you can also ask assistant to explain the report, like how it is built and what it shows. Because it's like, okay, I have issues created, issues resolved, and then it, as you can see already here, that it creates a vertical bar chart, and it is shown on a timeline. Then MDX formal assistant. Again, you can ask it to explain or help you write your own MDX formulas. And the last one, what is JavaScript custom field assistant. I think this is my favorite one, because I know what I want to get from Jira data, and I know what logic I want, but I'm not fluent in JavaScript. So I ask assistant, and it helps me. And of course it is making mistakes, but I have to test the result, and usually it's pretty good. And yes, if we look at the complete timeline, so it all started with ChatGPT being available and having this huge hype around it. Then the first ideas in year 2023 from my colleagues, then hackathon, internal testing, and assistance available for cloud. As you see, it wasn't momentally that we have this great idea. It takes time and finding what is working for us. And then in summer, we created several assistants also for eazyBI team as well. We are using Help Scout, what is our customer ticketing system, and we created an assistant that is helping us to search through the conversations, writing answers. And another is spam detector in eazyBI contact form, because in that summer, somehow some spam bot found us contact form, and it was really overcrowding the email. And then it was, okay, let's create some assistant helping to detect spam. And then we have another app that is eazyBI for monday.com, and we made it also available for monday.com. And in October, we created assistance for Confluence app. And then in November, we created it for Data Center and Custom Cube. So you can ask the report assistant also in Asset Cube, in your Custom Cube. So you can use it there as well. And the little bit invisible part. Assistants constantly push us to improve the documentation, because it is one of the parts what is like the knowledge what we are sharing with assistants. And the product itself. Also, we have improved product based on different like threats or seeing that assistant is creating some overly complex solution, so we can simplify the product so it is easier for assistant to answer the questions. So, Raymond's already mentioned about how do assistants work. So, everything starts if the user asks a question, the prompt. And then we are using one model that is classifying the prompt. Either it is report definition, or it is asking to explain measure, or it is searching documentation. So in this case, it would be we need answer in the report definition. And then it is searching knowledge data by similarity to prompt. And the knowledge data, what we are providing, one is the metadata from the cube. It is measures, dimensions, what levels there are. And then we have a special account that is holding all the sample reports and MDX formulas that the assistant know. So that is another part of the knowledge. And then it is also documentation pages, what is available publicly for everyone as well. And then we are building large language model instructions with this context data. And then we are sending it to the big large language model that is on Google Cloud, Anthropic Cloud model. And it is giving us the answer. And still we are processing the answer because we know some errors that are usually appearing, and we are fixing those, and we format JSON and MDX. And only then the customer gets their answer. So this is how our assistants work. And it is using RAG, the retrieval augmented generation, that we are providing this business-specific knowledge. And as we are providing different parts into eazyBI assistance, like this sample data and documentation and instructions, and as once Jan is told, the training a cat feels like it is easier. And I would agree, because there are so little changes. For example, if you are developing the code, you precisely know, I will write this, and the outcome is only one, this. Like A plus B will be AB. With assistant, it will see Y, Z, some other creative answer. So it is not so easy to train it. But in the same time, I was preparing for this presentation, and we have a separate Slack channel where we are sharing everything about assistants, and I was looking at the first conversations what we were having and what was the known issues and errors. And actually, during this year, assistants have improved greatly, and currently on simple answers, it is providing mostly correct answers. And well, we still have to improve it for the complex answers. And what we have learned from building the assistants. One of those things is make small changes and test the results, so they should be incremental. And yeah, track the instruction changes. For example, there were that we added to instructions that, hey, don't be overly friendly, like, hey, great job, and everything like that, because, well, the customer wants the report, not like giving the confidence boost. Another is providing the current date, so the assistant knows what date is today. And the real impact comes when we are reviewing the customer conversation threads and seeing how we can improve that. One of the, I think, big experiences for myself was I was helping my colleagues preparing presentation of AI. And I already was like knowing how to write the prompt, so the assistant provides me the correct answer. And during this interaction with my colleagues, I understood that, hey, there is some problem because it doesn't know how to use conditional formatting. And so I remember we were sitting with Raymond's in cafe, and we were like, okay, we need to like provide details about how to use conditional formatting so assistants know how to use it. And this came because my colleagues are like writing this use case about using assistant, having conditional formatting, and without seeing this real interaction, we have no knowledge, because when you work with assistants, at some moment, you know how to ask the question, so you get the answer you want. But reviewing how other people ask, then we can figure out different improvements. Yes, large language models are good at pattern matching, so use examples in prompts that are relevant, and use this retrieval augmented generation, so you provide business-specific knowledge into the large language model, so it doesn't search everything in the world, but only this, your business-specific. And while working with assistants and seeing how customers interact, we also have some suggestions on how to speak with assistants from our side. And first and most important, I think, they make mistakes and hallucinate. So every time when you get some answer from like whatever, ChatGPT or our assistants, test the results, research, don't just blindly trust them, because they make mistakes. And sometimes they are so convincing that even myself, I was like, really, we have this feature? One moment I have to search documentation, like, oh no, it was really convincing. So yeah, they make mistakes. Assistants, as already Raymond's shared, sees only metadata and what you share with them. So they don't see like more than you would share. And that is the reason that they can't read your mind. And you have to provide as much details as you can. You cannot just write, I want issues created and resolved report. Because like, okay, do you want another dimensions there? Do you want a bar chart? Do you want line chart? So you have to explain. And also about not reading your mind, because when we like closely work with each other as humans, we have some background information that, oh, I know, this customer usually asks about that or that, and this assistant doesn't know, and they don't learn from your like prompts, so you have to tell them every time what you want. And assistants are available 24/7, and they speak multiple languages, so, but still, I would say our support is still smarter, and we will provide you better answers when it comes, especially for complex cases. And yeah, as Raymond's already told, and I wanted to share still, that the best feedback is, or customer feedback is that they're using it, and they are saying great stuff. And I picked different feedback because I liked more other feedback that customers have left us. And the last part, about how assistants changed eazyBI. Because as I mentioned, assistant takes this knowledge, what we provide. It is sample data, documentation, but also the product itself. So one of the things when we were creating this assistant, we needed to go through our documentation and see that we have, for example, consistent headings, because it helps assistant to search through the documentation. Every code has to have the tag that it is related to JSON, MDX, or TOML. And long pages needed to be split in smaller, because we don't push just everything from our documentation into large language model. We find relevant parts and provide them as knowledge chunks. So that pushed us to split really long pages into small ones. And about docs as well, new pages came along, because when we were like reviewing the threads and seeing, hey, why does assistant doesn't know how to write simple tuple? Then we were checking the documentation about tuples and noticed that we have provided only very complex tuples. So we are providing for MDX functions different complexity, so not only assistants can use it, but actually our customers as well. Then, how to improve performance. Of course, Raymond's already talked about this profiling, but before that, we also have created public documentation that it explains, like, okay, if you have this or this descendant, you can turn it into tuple, or you can add additional filters into expression. So that at least assistant has this knowledge that we as support know when we are reviewing how to improve the formulas. Then MDX formulas for linked issues. As you know, issue links are very powerful into the Jira, and we are importing them as well. And we have community post about it, we have special training account, but then we noticed the pattern that assistant doesn't provide very good answers about how to create formulas. And what a surprise, because we didn't have anything about it in the documentation. We just had how to create issue links, and then that's it, go on your own. So a new page was created for linked issues as well, so users can go and read themselves as well, not only assistants. And there is just general page improvements, noticing that assistants cannot find answer on how to export PDF or PNG file, and then we are searching in the documentation and seeing that, yeah, because it's hidden in a long description and it's just another part of the description. So we are trying to split those long texts into relevant bullet points. And as I mentioned multiple times, this helps not only assistants, but our customers as well when they are using our documentation. And the product. Like, we are checking those answers and seeing that for some simple prompts, some simple questions, assistant is providing overly complicated solution. And one of those was issue summary. Previously, this is just one of the ways how you could get the issue summary, but it like creates an overly complex MDX calculation. And then we provided another formula. It looks like still complex, but this is predefined measure. So it's being imported automatically, and you don't have to create any formula. It is out of the box there, and it is because people are asking for doing some calculations and summary, searching the text. So this appeared. Then another thing that we have custom date picker old values. We are supporting the issue change history. And for some historical reasons, we didn't have this for Jira due date, what is standard field. But as assistant is providing the answers based on the similar patterns, it is like, oh, it is a custom field, so it should have this old value dates. And instead of saying him, no, Jira, we don't support Jira due date, we just started to support Jira due date, so assistant can use this knowledge. Workload dimension as well, Raymond mentioned, it was hidden. And again, assistant has this knowledge because he sees those dimensions and he sees, oh, there is a workload dimension, use it in your report. And we're like, oh, no, it's hidden. And yeah, so now you can use directly workload dimension. It has multiple workload properties, and you can retrieve comments. And if you have, for example, tempo that has additional attributes like tempo account, then you can even build custom hierarchy based on this workload property. And the last one is different improvements into the functions, like case matches generate and coalesce empty. Previously, the matches function didn't work very well when was comparing empty string with some value. And the workaround was creating this like beautiful coalesce empty that provides empty value if the string is empty. And well, we improved it that matches just knows if the string is empty, then you can compare this value and you don't have to write this workaround. And coalesce empty as well. Previously, it was handling string and numeric values only, but now you can also put due date values, and it will retrieve you the first non-empty date value. So if the resolution is filled, it is retrieving resolution. If it's empty, it goes to the next date. And this as well came from just reviewing threads and what customers ask and how we can simplify the answers for assistant. And also eazyBI Learning Center, while working on assistance, we created like technically things that can be reused in Learning Center as well. So this idea about Learning Center, I think, was with us for 2 years, and assistant just gave us the needed push to start implementing and get ready like for development. And if I want you to remember something from this presentation, the first thing is experiment and play. Maybe the first idea will not be the magic one, but try to play around, experiment, and find the right fit for you and for your product so it brings the value. Because it's very important because creating assistant is just the beginning. It takes constant review, improvements, so it gets better. Because it is like a smart intern, but it knows only what you provide them, and you have to teach it. And it kind of takes some part of our like support questions from us, and we have maybe less emails with the simple questions. But we have to spend time improving it, so it provides better answers. And be open to changes. And it is not only instructions into the eazyBI assistant, but also into the source. In our case, assistant brought our attention to different things where we, as a product, can improve. So, thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, do you have any questions?